Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Pipe Bomb Sessions. And yes, that is right. This is not normal. Today is the day we are officially into NFL. Boom, guys. That is right. Pipe Bomb Sessions is now going to be covering not only WWE, but also NFL coverage, stats, breaking news, rumors, and starting this week, the NFL WildCard Weekend playoffs, baby. Shoot, we are in for a good one. Let me just read some of the matchups we got going on, right? We got the Rams going to Carolina, even though Carolina got that negative record. But hey, division winners, I guess they got one home game at least. You know what I'm saying? So shoot, as the 4th seed, they're going to go visit. They're going to be hosting, LA. Now, the second matchup on Saturday that's going to be happening is a rubber matchup. This is one that I'm actually looking forward to because I expect it to be a banger, just like we had bangers the first two times. That's the Packers going to visit Chicago. Now, guys, the real question is Chicago going to overcome this and get their very first playoff win since 2011? Literally in the divisional round with Jay Cutler. That's how far back these Bears have not smelled a victory. However, I can see Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson changing that after this weekend. I'm not going to rule the Packers out by any means, but, it could be a little rocky in that sense. I don't know. I think a lot of things are in play there, but we'll touch on that in just a second. Now, going into Sunday, very first matchup to start out the Sunday lineup is none other than Josh Allen. The guy who has, honestly, I think, more to lose than people realize come this playoffs. And, man, there's a lot to that, right? There's a lot to open in that can. He's going to be going to Jacksonville to face Liam Cohen, T-Law, and the Jaguars. That Jags team is real, and it's nice. Now, the next matchup, then good old 4:30 p.m. Eastern slate. It's going to be the San Francisco 49ers, one of the hottest teams since Brock Purdy has actually returned from injury, going against my boys in the Philadelphia Eagles, baby. I mean, man, has that been a rocky season already to kind of go with, and I'm not honestly sure in what sense. Oh man, which Philadelphia Eagles team are we gonna get offensively? At least defensively, I'm not as worried because of Vic Fangio and company. I mean, he has our D rocking for about 2 years now, 2 seasons. And to wrap up Sunday night, it's gonna be Justin Herbert and the Chargers going against Drake May and the Patriots. I actually think that's going to be an interesting matchup and won't be too bad. One thing I am looking forward to is the very next night, Monday Night Football. It's going to be Houston Texans, in my opinion, one of the hottest teams in the NFL because of that freaking defense, going against the man who's trying to make one last run before he calls it a career, Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's an interesting matchup. Now let's break this down a little bit, right? Now I'm gonna actually start with where we just ended. Now that's with the Texans and Rodgers Steelers matchup. That's a very interesting matchup. Of course, the Steelers haven't had DK for about 2 weeks now, right? 2 weeks. He's been suspended because of the altercation with the fan. And the Detroit game, boom, almost cost him a playoff spot. If it wasn't for Tyler Lue freaking somehow missing that kick. A lot of factors came into it. However, don't matter anymore because, boom, Steelers are in. Aaron Rodgers got one more shot. However, I don't know, man. That offense has to get it together against Houston because Houston's strongest point is shutting down offenses. Man, since they've been on this win streak, they have absolutely dominated. They've only allowed 17.4 points per game. That is an insane mark. Insane. Like, I don't know. I don't know how the Steelers can get it going. I think it's gonna be their run game. You gotta get Jalen Warren going. You gotta get Kenny Gainwell going. Even if they can't get it going on the ground, maybe get some dump passes on there and try to go about it that way. However, Houston's strong point is to shut down, especially premium receivers. Now, the return of DK is important because DK can run those short, quick slant type routes, screen type routes that Rodgers likes throwing very quickly out of the pocket. Reason being is he's going to be rushed. And D'Amico Ryans and company, he's going to bring the pressure to Rodgers all night long. And I fully expect it. That is going to be the key. If the pass rush gets there, which in my opinion, it could and it might a few times, that's going to cause a lot of issues for Aaron Rodgers out there. I don't know, man. I think my final prediction for this game is I think Houston pulls out the upset and they take the victory when it comes to Monday Night Football against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know. You know, you got the vets out there. You got Mike Tomlin. You got freaking Rodgers out there. But I don't know if you guys knew this. The Steelers have been outscored in the last 6 playoff games 73-0 in the first quarter. That cannot happen. And if that does happen, Houston's going to easily seal the deal on this victory. Now, where I want to go next is a very interesting matchup since they already beat them. And that's the Carolina Panthers and the Rams game. Now, why I think it's very interesting is can Carolina pull out one more upset? Personally, no, I don't think so. Unless Bryce Young actually shows up and becomes consistent for once, then I think they have a shot. However, what's interesting is I know we really can't rely on this type of stuff and statistics but they're up and down team. Every time they've lost, they've won the very next matchup. The only time they've lost back-to-back games is week 17-18. So the question now is, can the Panthers pull out one more surprise victory out of nowhere? The thing is, though, man, I think it's going to be a little risky. I don't know if they're going to be able to. Personally, the Rams are a hot team, man. The Rams are Super Bowl favorites over here. I don't expect them to get bounced from Carolina, to be honest. I actually expect the Rams, Stafford, of course, he's in the running for the MVP right now. I expect him to come in there, handle business, and get their revenge how they want. So, in my opinion, Rams should be able to take this victory and move on to the next round. We'll see where it happens from there, Then it's time for the rubber matchup. Man, the rubber matchup is very, very interesting between the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers. They've obviously split it 1-1. A lot of heroics from Caleb Williams to even get that split because Green Bay was really looking for the sweep earlier in the season. And what's interesting, I actually find, is that the last victories from both these teams are actually against each other. I actually find that very, very interestingly funny because now this really is a rubber matchup. Like, who's going to take the third victory? Honestly, Green Bay had a chance and we're looking good. It's just very hard for me to just rule out a team completely. I get it. The Bears are the hot team. The Bears had a phenomenal season compared to what everybody thought they were gonna do. Like Ben Johnson's done what he said he was gonna do, turn the Chicago Bears around, and he did that. He did just that. Right now, what makes me nervous about the Bears is their defense. Their defense really relies on getting turnovers. If they don't get a turnover, it could be a little bit risky. You know what I'm saying? They need to get turnovers, which obviously they do at a very, very high rate. You know what I mean? I believe it's 33 they're sitting at right now. Includes 23 interceptions, which leads the NFL, of course. Now, if they pick off Jordan Love a couple times, I fully expect the Bears to win this. However, just like we saw in the previous 2 meetings, It's a divisional game, guys. Anything can happen. The Bears being at home, I don't think that's a huge advantage just because the other team plays in Green Bay. Like, the home field advantage in this case, I think, is more neutral than anything else. Bears are obviously a little bit healthier on defense because no Parsons on the other defense. Do I think the Bears can lose this game? Yes. Do I think they have a solid performance and just completely dominate the game? No. I actually think this game is going to be a lot closer than I think. I've seen a lot of people say that, Bears gonna advance, go to the next round. Honestly, guys, I have that weird feeling that Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur are gonna pull out a victory. Something's telling me that they're coming in there. They know they're the underdogs. This is it. I mean, Jordan Love kind of has to shine. There's a lot of hype on him. There's a lot like, hey, people look at him next big guy, franchise guy. You got to show in the postseason too, right? This is Caleb Williams' first dance to the postseason. If he does great, awesome. Boom. You expect the Bears to win, especially because the Bears just look overall better than the Packers. However, I think this is a more important game for the Packers. I just think that Jordan Love needs a victory under his belt when it comes to the playoffs. And honestly speaking, I do not think the Bears are going to break their playoff drought and the Packers will advance. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am saying indeed that the Packers will upset the Bears. I don't think that's a huge upset per se. I do think it's possible though. Speaking of upsets, brings me to my very next matchup, and that is the Bills and the Jags. Now, Jags defense, dominant. We know that. We know what they've been doing. You know what I mean? Like, they've been doing amazing. Like, it's crazy how much pressure they get on QBs, but they don't come away with sacks. That's the only thing. Now, that is dangerous against a Josh Allen. Because Josh Allen, if he feels that pressure, he's a takeoff. Josh Allen don't do Josh Allen type of magic. You know what I'm saying? So, I think that's where the chess game may come in. However, another thing is, the Bills have the number 1 rushing offense. The Jags have the number 1 rushing defense. The question is, who is going to win that battle? If they do not get James Cook going, what are the Bills going to do as a backup plan? We have not seen the Bills do that yet. Unfortunately, we have not. Now, and that's where it makes me a little nervous about the Bills. In my opinion, this is a must-win game for Josh Allen. I really don't see this in any other way. You have no Patty Mahomes, no Joe Burrow, no Lamar Jackson. You are the veteran in the playoffs right now, in the sense that you've been there, you know what it feels like, the big game, you got it. Josh Allen, this is it. Go to the Super Bowl. This is your time, in my opinion. You cannot miss this window of opportunity. I think if they do, we are going to see more coaching changes happen right after WildCard Weekend. I would not be surprised by that. Trust me. Sean McDermott, I believe, obviously we haven't heard it like that. He could be playing for his job in a sense. And the only reason I really even say that is because Sean McDermott, he hasn't really shown, okay, cool. What have you guys done offseason acquisition-wise to really help Josh Allen in the sense? Yes, Josh Allen is literally this year controlling everything when it comes to the Bills. However, the one thing he cannot control is victories on the road. This Bills team has struggled heavily on the road this year. That is not good for them. I do not like that. The thing is, though, James Cook. If James Cook can get it going, I'm telling you, this team has a very, very good chance. Now, this Bills team isn't as dominant as years past. I definitely don't think that. Have we seen a lot of things going array with the Bills? Correct. I think it's a must-win game. Bills under Sean McDermott have never won a road playoff game. Unfortunately for Josh Allen and the Bills, I don't think they're going to win it this weekend either. I think the Jags should be able to pull out, which is insane to say, an upset victory over the Bills. But it's Josh Allen, the Bills. That's why it's an upset. However, I do see T-Law improving. You know, they're 7-1 when it comes to freaking how they've played all year long. Like, those are just elite numbers. I don't know what else to say. I think the Jags should be able to take care of business here. They're going to get pressure on Josh Allen. Josh Allen struggled on the road, force him to make some mistakes. That's how the Jags always capitalize. We've seen it all year long. I expect it to happen now. They're a hot team. I expect them to keep it going. Remember, the Jags are the only team that beat Denver during Denver's win streak all year long. Remember that, guys. The next matchup is the Philadelphia Eagles and the 49ers. Simple enough. I'm going to put it very nice and easy for everyone listening. The Eagles need to get the offense figured out if they're going to win this game. If the Eagles do not get the offense figured out, they are not going to win this game. Unfortunately, it's going to look very, very rough. I believe in the defense. The defense has been dominant under Vic Fangio. I mean, if they can get pressure, they can force Purdy into mistakes, force Purdy to feel the pressure. You kind of get what, Mike McDonald and the Seahawks made him feel last week. He barely even got on the board. Now, don't get me wrong. If the Niners come out freaking slinging, they're the fourth best freaking scoring team, I believe, in the NFL after Purdy returned from his toe injury. So that's pretty big. I think it's going to be a little bit of a matchup where, hey, we're going to let you... It's going to be a bend, don't break matchup. I think the very important thing is not our defense. It is our offense. We need consistency. We need Jalen Hurts start running a little bit. Need freaking Barkley to run a little bit. That's the only way the Eagles get the victory. However, what is needed from the Niners, what they need CMC to run a rough shot. That too high safety that Vic Fangio runs, CMC's good. He's good at getting in the middle, coming out of that backfield, catch some passes, make some moves. He's very good. We know that, open field. If you can somehow contain him, I think we should be able to control the game, control the clock, have kind of the defensive type of game that we are looking for in Philadelphia, and that's how they are going to advance. I don't know. I am going to put my marbles in Philly, of course. And let's see what happens with that. It is a little bit of a concerning matchup just because. So let's just see how it goes. And then, of course, Sunday Night Football. We are wrapping it up with Sunday Night Football. And with that, it's going to be as simple as this. Justin Herbert looking for a victory in the playoffs against, well, a team that nobody really saw being the number 2 seed all of a sudden, huh? That's the New England Patriots. Look who's back on top all of a sudden, right? The thing is, I think the Patriots should be able to clear this game pretty easily. In the sense that, I mean, sure, it could be on the box score a close game, but I expect Justin Herbert to get rushed all night long. Like, if the Patriots are smart, they're gonna bring in pressure, because pressure on that O-line has had 29 different combinations. That is an insanely high mark. And Herbert has been just running around back there in order to make sure that he can keep his offense on the field and keep drives alive. That is where it's going to be, can Herbert overcome their injuries on the O-line and bring them to his first victory in the playoffs? Or will Drake May, Mike Vrabel take care of business and move on to the next round? I do want to point out one thing. Dome teams who have gone on the road and played outside in under 40-degree weather have had a very bad record. If I am correct, those road teams have maybe 0 to 1 win. That doesn't look good for the Chargers and Herbert if it's going to be a cold and icy night in New England. Let's see and find out. I do expect it to be, honestly, a good game, but again, box score is going to show us something different than what the game itself is going to show us. I'm excited about these playoffs, guys. I think there's a lot of things going on, man. There's a lot of fun matchups for sure. Few upsets gonna happen. Oh man, let's definitely be on the ride for this. I think it's gonna be a good time. I'm looking forward to it. I appreciate you guys tuning in to the very first Pipe Bomb Sessions NFL edition. There's gonna be many more to come. We're gonna make this consistent. These are gonna be releasing every week right after the regularly released WWE episodes. Again, spread the word. Have everyone know, hey, we are going and expanding into NFL now, man. Shoot. I'm super excited. I can't wait. You guys enjoy the playoffs this weekend, and I can't wait to talk to you guys next week. Don't forget to subscribe and like. See you guys later.